When Scottie Scheffler queried the point of it all earlier in the week, he might have spared a thought for those nurturing daft notions of catching him on a leaderboard. If there is a more futile task in sport, then Portrush was not the place to attempt the argument. He crushed the chasers, buried them deep among the thorns and briar roses, and after this four-shot mauling was completed with a final lap of 68, he was handed the claret jug. Champion Golfer of the Year? Tri-era. Those conversations have been running for some time already, and they will run faster now. Such was the manner in which he won his first Open title, his second major of the season, and his fourth in the space of 3. By the time he drained his 267th shot of the week, a 1-foot putt for par on the 18th, any sense of jeopardy had already left this beautiful tip of Northern Ireland. That's simply what he does to tournaments. To fields of the elite. Some might mistake it for boring, but the truth points far closer to a level of quality unseen in golf since Tiger Woods, and so do the numbers. The gap between their first and fourth major wins is an eerily identical 1,197 days. Our comparisons are getting easier to make, even if Scheffler did brand them silly on Sunday night. In this tournament, no one stood within the same postcode as Scheffler. The closest to his 17 under par total was Harris English, for back, and Chris Gooderup, who was one further behind. But it wasn't about them. Nor was it about Rory McIlroy's tie for 7th after a Sunday charge that never materialized, and it wasn't about Bryson DeChambeau's round of 64 that suggested he might eventually crack links golf. No, this was the Scheffler show, and has been since he sat in a media tent on Tuesday and spoke in existential terms that bordered on shocking about the lack of fulfillment that accompanies his wins. Goodness, he even predicted in advance that a win here would feel awesome for all of 2 minutes, such are the demands of staying on top. At the time it sounded a little burnout. By the close of the weekend, Scheffler claimed he had been misunderstood, and that his broader point was about putting golf beneath family and faith in his priorities. Be that as it may, his place among the all-time greats is forever taking on a new look. Perhaps McIlroy put it best on Sunday evening: he is the bar that we're all trying to get to. In a historical context, you could argue that there's only maybe 2 or 3 players in the history of the game that have had a run like the one that Scottie's been on here for the last 36 months. Incredibly impressive. The fact Scheffler is only 29 makes the possibilities all the more glaring, especially as he possesses an unflappable mind and that invaluable gift of being able to rise at precisely the right time.
Dude, we work so hard for such little moments, and I'm kind of a sicko. I love putting in the work. I love being able to practice. I love getting out to live out my dreams. But at the end of the day, sometimes I just don't understand the point, because I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but am I not? It's just one of those deals. I love the challenge. I love being able to play this game for a living. It's one of the greatest joys of my life. But does it fill the deepest, wants and desires of my heart? Absolutely not. I love playing golf. I love being able to compete. I love living out my dreams. I love being a father. I love being able to take care of my son. I love being able to provide for my family out here playing golf. And, every day when I wake up early to go put in the work, my wife thanks me for going out and working so hard. And when I get home, I try and thank her every day for taking care of our son. It's just, that's why I talk about families being my priority, because it really is. I'm blessed to be able to come out here and play golf, but if my golf ever started affecting my home life, or it ever affected the relationship I have with my wife or with my son, that's going to be the last day that I play out here for a living. This is not the be-all, end-all. This is not the most important thing in my life, and that's why I wrestle with, why is this so important to me? Because, I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. That at the end of the day, that's what's more important to me. Sucks. I hate it. I really do.
But that's part of the competition.
That is, and I think that's why we try to work so hard to not lose. But golf's a game where you just lose a lot more often than you win. That's just a simple part of it. In basketball or football, when there's only 2 guys out there, you can win a lot more than you lose. But I think I was looking at stats. It was one of the best tennis players. It might have been Federer or Djokovic or somebody. They only won like 48% of their points or something like that. Playing professional sports is a really weird thing to do. It really is, just because we put in so much effort. We work so hard for something that's so fleeting. I mean, it really is. Like, the feeling of winning just doesn't last that long. You know, when I sit back at the end of the year and, you know, I kind of try to reflect on things, like having that sense of accomplishment from winning the Masters tournament, from winning the PGA Championship, I have a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for it. But it's just hard to explain how it just doesn't satisfy, is how I would describe it. It's an unsatisfying venture. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is this is not the place to look for your satisfaction. This is something that's where you can have a great appreciation for and a great a great amount of thankfulness for being able to do this. And it's, I mean, like I said, it's literally one of the most fun things that I can do in my entire life. I love being able to come out here and play golf and compete, but at the end of the day, it's just not what satisfies me.